Haman made a decree to annihilate every man, woman, and child of the Jewish nation. Mordechai said to Esther, go into the palace. You're the queen. Beseech Achashverosh, beg for mercy. Maybe he'll relent. Esther sends back a message to Mordechai, I will go in, but first, fast 3 days and 3 nights. The very next verse says, Vayavor Mordechai, Mordechai violated. Rashi explains, what does it mean he violated? Immediately, right then, Mordechai decreed the fast day. And Rashi explains that right then was the 14th day of Nisan. The next day was the 15th, and the day after was the 16th. You see, Mordechai decreed those 3 days of fast should begin now, tomorrow, and the day after. Well, the 15th day of Nisan is Passover. That year, instead of the Jews of Shushan, instead of the Jews of Achashverosh's kingdom eating matzah, instead of the drinking wine, they sat on the floor, ashes on their head, wearing sackcloth, they fasted. Instead of their doing the mitzvahs of matzah and wine, they didn't eat. And this Rashi is very difficult to understand. Why? Because wouldn't you imagine that Mordechai would be very concerned about the merit of eating matzah? Could you imagine the entire Jewish nation doing the mitzvah of drinking the 4 cups, eating maror, eating matzah? Wouldn't you imagine that Mordechai would say to all the Jews, my friends, go home, eat the matzah with tremendous intention, and drink the wine as you never drank it before. We need every merit. Then when we're finished, I want you to come back right after Passover, come back and we'll have a 3-day fast. Why did Mordechai have to do it right then and violate one of the principles of the Torah? And I believe the answer to this question is that Mordechai recognized human frailty. At that moment, the Jewish nation got it. There's no one that we could depend on. Not Esther, certainly not Achashverosh. There's only God. And with a tremendous outpouring of emotion, the Jewish nation at that very moment turned to Hashem and said, you are our creator, upon you we depend. But Mordechai knew that if he sent the Jewish nation home, had he let the fires cool a little bit with a few days interruption, maybe a week interruption, they would have come back, they would have prayed, but it would not have been the same. That sense of utter desperation, that sense of tremendous inspiration that they had at that moment was something that he needed to capitalize on. He said, now is the moment. He seized it and he decreed the fast day right now because that was what was needed at that moment, at that time. And this concept is something that's critical for success in life. Many times we'll have moments of inspiration, moments of tremendous understanding. If we capitalize on them, if we put both feet into the fire at that moment and we charge forward, we reach levels, we reach greatness. But if you allow the fires to cool, hard to know if you ever have that same inspiration, hard to know if you ever have that same motivation. When that moment comes, you have to seize it and charge forward with it.